good. March Madness and the great storms. We're going to be predicting the weather, and it looks like it's going to be a little bit dramatic, typical during Mercury retrogrades. But when we get the Mercury retrograde in a stellium, which it's going to be on the outside of a Pisces stellium, it's going to activate some serious weather. We'll be pulling some tarot based on some of the clues that we're going to get in the chart. So, and behind me, I'm working late. It's the Astrology Weather channel. I'm the only employee. Everyone else has gone home. All right, so let's get started. This just happened today. North Carolina. Is it North Carolina? Yeah. Flooding. So we're talking about some serious storms in the U.S. heading towards the East Coast, I think. It's here. Sunshine is here. KK, Natalie. Everybody's like, I can't hear you. Angel, I know. I was going to ask you about the cyclone there in Australia, how everybody is doing in that. And KK, Shauna, glad you could join us. All right. So if you have never commented before and you're a subscriber, I would love to hear that you are listening, and also that maybe the location from where you're listening. That would be great. I know, snowing in Indiana. That is nuts. Friday's going to be in the 70s and sunny, wild. So what I usually do, I expect that the weather's going to shift around Mercury retrograde, which is right about now, starting yesterday and today. And then right around, at least in this period, in this Mercury retrograde period, I think it's March 15th where it goes full retrograde. And then it comes out of retrograde, but still shade. I believe it's right at the end of the month. So let me get to the next thing. Check this out. Are we seeing the beginning of more frequent ice storms? I just saw this. This came out 3 days ago. And the answer is yes. And why? Because Saturn is coming in and it's forming this stellium with Neptune, which is water. So Saturn ice or Saturn cold. And ice, and then add it to Neptune, which is water and flooding. It's almost like flooding, or should I say frozen floods? Maybe I should have named this show Frozen Floods. So definitely going to be some instances of that, I think. Here, this is the USA chart and the ninth house. This is it's kind of international, but it's also in the press. And Ontario, Canada. Thanks, Lisa. Nice to see you. So this is for the US, and look at how the lunar eclipse is conjunct Neptune, and that is March 14th. That's going to continue to keep going for like 6 months, but it'll be especially dramatic these first few weeks. So this is really, really tough stuff. A Virgo, that is, trying to think, definitely a lot of journalists. So I think you're going to be seeing a lot of journalists in the water as we would normally, but more so this time. And with Neptune, that is just a big, big weather event. Actually, Virgo could sometimes can mean pets. So missing pets, we'll see a lot more missing pets. So guard your pets. It's also smaller storms too, because it's ruled by Mercury. Deb, you said going on cruise and at end of the month, weather good. Hope the weather is good in Mexico. It's okay. I've seen people take cruises during the Mercury retrograde and shade, but it probably will be a little bit turbulent on the water. Could be like a shocking rainstorm or something like that. It's not terrible. How do you read a whole country's weather chart? Well, you've got to pull the birth chart for the country. And then what I do is I'll look at the transit chart. I'll also look at the solar return and see the prediction for the country for that year. Okay, Shauna, you said, oh my God, my 6-year-old, who is also a 3-degree Pisces rising, asked me today on a car ride home, what will we do if it floods, Mom? Oh my God, that's right. And I asked him if he talked about rain today in school. Nope. He is psychic. He is psychic. I'm telling you, Shauna. Let's do a card for your son, because I saw his chart and I think he's psychic. Is Shauna's son psychic about these floods coming up? And then I'm going to show you a bunch of charts. Is Shauna's son Psychic. Let's see, what do I get here? Whoa. 8 of Wands reversed. Okay. And a clarifying cards. 7 of Pentacles. I would say lots of communication coming in. Reversed, maybe not knowing how to read it yet, but looks like the beginning of something. So, beginning of maybe learning how to use his intuition. So, Pisces. All right. It's funny how you're going on a cruise, Deb. That's definitely Pisces. It's leaning into the Pisces and the Neptune. All right. Now I'm going to go back to, it's kind of wild about that lunar eclipse there. Lunar eclipses in ancient times, they were not good. They were always the bad news of that year. And so this is a total lunar eclipse. This is pretty strong, March 14th. Okay, so this is the solar return chart, and take a look at that. I'm going to make this a little smaller. Can I make it smaller? Yes, I can't. But you can see that Moon and Pluto together. And this is March 24th. This is something very, very famous that's going to happen March 24th, usually when Pluto and the Moon come together. This is something that makes the news. Sometimes the moon is a little bit, maybe there's a little more of an orb between the moon and Pluto, but this is usually something that's super, super famous. Hello, Psychic Medium Roberto. We would love to hear your thoughts on the weather events in March. Angel, you said your son would talk about his dog and sitting by the fire in his old house when he was little. He would only wear Velcro shoes because he already learned to tie shoelaces and wasn't going to again. I don't understand that. Deb, okay. And then by age 5, 6, he stopped and forgot it all. Yeah, I was just talking to my dad, and he was telling me how he even remembers back when he was maybe 4 or 5 years old, he had an imaginary friend. He was an only child. So I said, well, did that mean anything to you? Like maybe it was a spirit. And he's like, no. He's a Capricorn. Of course not. Of course not. All right. So yeah, Pluto, Moon. This is a major, major thing that's happening around March 24th. I think it could be weather related. In Aquarius, that can show things that are going way up high. We're seeing maybe roofs. It's an air sign. So we're going to be seeing maybe some gusty winds, and also it can represent tremors. So something, hopefully not, but we might be seeing some earthquakes or an earthquake I'm going to say between March 15th and March 24th. And then the other thing that's happening, and this is again the solar return for the USA. Right here, you can see a T square, and it is attaching or connecting. I mean, my God, like have you ever seen this is a lot of planets, but that represents a lot of events. It also represents a lot of people. There's so much Pisces. We might be seeing some things that have to do with uh, definitely video, famous video here. Mercury is ruling the 11th house of social media. So we're definitely seeing something. We're seeing a lot of people, could be landslides, could be people sleeping, could be a bed that floats in the water because of Pisces representing bed and pillows and pajamas. I know it sounds kind of crazy, but you just wait. You'll see. You will see so much energy in the air. And you've got Mercury retrograde. And what is it doing? And so is Venus. When you've got retrograding planets, it just changes that magnetic field, and it shifts the air, it shifts the earth, and we all have to endure it. Unfortunately, we don't see any reports about it other than astrology, so it's kind of sad. I hope that changes. Let's look at, I'm going to come back to Hurricane Helene. Well, no, you know what? Real quick, because of so much Libra, this is air. So this is like air being whipped up. And remember, keep in mind, we were talking about a mountain with Hurricane Helene, and it was the shock of a mountain. So you can see that square there. So whenever you're going to see a Uranus with a square is something that's going to be shocking. And so it was like a group of people on a mountain. It was bad. They're still recovering from Hurricane Helene. This was the biggest hurricane on record, and I think 8,000 people died and tons of homeless. And in a solar return chart, if you're looking for like a lot of people who are being affected, you're going to see stelliums like this, and you're going to see Saturn in the middle of it, which means death, sadness, um, being slow, not being able to get out of it. And so that's Saturn for you. Just have, especially with Chiron, you've got wounds, people are wounds or wounded. And then look how Mercury retrogrades in there. So it really shows how everything is shifting altogether. Then let's not forget we have this opposition to Neptune and Pluto, which is lots and lots, is lots of water. And it just boom hit this group of poor people. It was a terrible, terrible uh, act of God, and these people, they just didn't think that it would ever happen. But this is what was this? I think this was the transit chart for the Galveston. Anyway, it's when there were a lot of people who died. Jupiter and the moon together is also, it's just like Pluto and the moon. It means famous. And so a famous event is happening. But Saturn means death, so lots and lots of death. And then there's Neptune right there again. So in that T square with, of course, the planet that represents weather events is Mercury. So that one was a tough one. A lot of, I don't want to be morbid, but a lot of bodies in the water. And there it is. Oh, I'm sorry. This was the Great Flood of California. I knew I should have labeled that. But yeah, that one was a big one as well. So big floods, Neptune there. All right. Now, this is the progressed transit chart right about now. And we have, now this is for the US. So the moon is right here. This is the progressed moon. And what do we have? We are in Sadi. Obviously, we can see that. Everybody's just so depressed. They're like, what is going on? There's a big shift in world politics. There is just lots of fear, I think. And that's what that Saturn moon usually means when you have that. So Saturn is creeping up here, and Pluto or Neptune is right there with North Node, which means lots and lots of water. So we're expecting to see something, I think, come of that. The other thing too is that we have transit Uranus. This is right now. It is squaring Mercury in Aquarius. So this is definitely a shock. Could be maybe in the air. These are airplanes, lots of airplane accidents. So you're seeing that there in the US chart, the progressed transit chart. The transit planets are on the outside, and the progressed planets are on the inside in green. All of these planets on the outside, they look exactly the same on your chart and my chart and the USA chart. But the progressed planets are going to be different. They're going to be, activating the US chart, which is the chart for July 4th, 1776. So if you were to pull that chart, this is what you would see. And so all these planets have to move past the moon. And Saturn and moon is, it's death and despair. So just be ready for a lot that you're going to be seeing a lot of things on Instagram. It's interesting how you could make an analogy that social media, and there's a lot of video on social media, so Neptunian types of things. When something terrible happens, it floods social media. So you're seeing all of this on your phones, which has a camera that's also Neptunian. So we're holding the photos, we're looking at them. And when all of this energy happens at the same time, we're all looking at it together. So it's important to stay off of social media if you can. So thank you, Angel D. That is so sweet. Yeah, flash floods. And Yeah, could be a tsunami hitting California. I was talking about the one that hit Alaska the last time. Okay. Thanks, Deb. Loved your reading on Gene Hackman and the couple in Iran. I will say this with Gene Hackman, we are seeing a lot of words like suspicious coming out. And Nancy Grace just had a show. I haven't caught it yet, but and we also saw in that chart that the police would be weak, showing that they would make mistakes, which they have admitted to, but still doesn't mean they can't solve it. I think it's possible for them to get inside some of um, information. I think that hasn't been made public. They are able to get access to it. All right. So there's the progressed transit for the US. I mean, I could just sit here and look at this all day because you can really see why the world collectively is being affected by this chart. You've got Pluto and it's squaring the progressed Saturn of the chart, and that's in Scorpio. So that's a lot to talk about land, a lot of revenge talk, a lot of revenge of the past coming back. Saturn means to bring back, and we're seeing people wanting to take revenge on each other. Pluto is also revenge. So, ugh, yuck. It also means a lot of depression too. And it could even mean that's in the second house. Eek. It can mean talk of a Great Depression because of Saturn here and Pluto. This is lots and lots. So we'll look at the second house. If you wanted to look at the depression, then I'll move back to the weather. But the second house would be Venus, and we're up here. Yeah, and there's a square with Pluto. So kind of looking a little dicey right now. Once Pluto moves on, it's going to feel a little bit better, I think. It could be worse. That's what I say. What are we talking about with regard to a depression, a Great Depression? Are we at risk for a Great Depression in the next 12 months? I know we already are, but is this a real situation that we've got to keep an eye on? Is it something that we're going to really be affected by, like past Great Depressions? Okay. Two of Wands reversed. I'll do a clarifier card on that. And Five of Wands reversed. I think it's okay. I think it's okay. I think it's mostly fear, and we're able to move on from it. So we could get a lot worse cards, let me tell you. So I think we're okay. We just have to, not read the news too much. Mercury, the news. And Sagittarius is also publications too. Okay. So this is the transit for Mars. I'm sorry, for March 14th. This is around the time of the solar eclipse. And good Lord, you guys have seen this before. We've got Neptune and we've got an opposition to this wonderful group of planets here with Saturn in there. North Node. This could be a foreign place. So if I was looking at this for the US, it could mean that there are either foreign floods. It could mean some local flooding with the third house. North Node means foreign. It also means a foreign name. So could have something to do with something on the coast. Um, the problem with North Node is it is the planet that represents thugs, and Neptune represents um, criminals. So it does look like there's some kind of criminal event happening. And I think it might have something to do with the weather. So it could be some looting there that we're going to be seeing in March, right around mid-March. I hope not. I hope not. But that's a very typical signature there. And here's the eclipse right here. The eclipse is like zapping this area right here. So interesting that there are quite a few planets, and this is the natal chart of the USA. The inner symbols are the planets, and it's in Cancer, which represents psychics, and also a lot of women. So there's something going on. It's like an eclipse of the intuitives, of the women, and it also shows homes too. So there could be some type of change in, living conditions, but I wonder if we're going to see something come out about psychics because it does look as if they're going to be able to give us some kind of information. Hey, Star Sleuth. And hey, Heather. Yeah, Deb, I've been worried about that due to focus on financial slashing by current administration. Yeah, a lot of people are wondering what's going on. They're horrified, whatever side of the aisle they're on, they're horrified. Here is Neptune. So we've seen this before, and then the opposition to all of these planets here. Holy God, that's a lot. And there's North Node, which, as I said, is like the thugs. Neptune is the criminals. I think we're going to see something about females here, groups of females. Maybe we're going to be seeing people arrested that are female. I don't know. Or let's see. It's right by Aries too. Now, with Aries, we're going to see some metal events. And I remember, I think the last time I was looking at some historical charts, which is always interesting. When I saw things that like energy that was going into Aries, planets that were moving into or ingressing into Aries, there was usually something about something metal. Ferries can sink, trains can be caught, or anything with metal. So usually cars, something very fast that slows down from the water. So that could possibly be happening mid-month. This is the solar return chart. We're going to look at the solar return starting July 4th. So every house is going to start on July 4th. And so right at March 4th is right here. Keeping in mind, though, that we've been in Cancer for a little while. So it's really been before March 4th that the moon, which is why I highlighted it here, has activated. We're seeing a lot of talk about Gemini related things, twinning, everyone's twinning. And what is the moon doing? The moon right now is in a T square with Neptune. More weather. So weather events are coming in. Now it's going to be that way just for this first week. And then it moves into Leo. That actually might be good because then the sun starts to activate. And that's when the eclipse starts to happen right around this. So it's actually good that the moon is not being activated during those days of the eclipse. And the sun now is it's in a you can see, wow, there is a blue triangle, which is very good. It's very nice. It's right here. Strange how Saturn is trining the sun. And this can show a return to something. Lots of history is coming out for some reason. It's in the fourth house. Now, keeping in mind, this is the US. We are talking a lot about the history. People are going back, way back to other presidents. They're trying to, if you're talking about the US, everybody's suddenly interested in US history. So that could be some of it. But is it going to affect the weather? That's the next question. And what the sun is doing is the sun is squaring Chiron. It's a little bit better than what I thought. It's a little bit better than what I thought. We only have like another 5 days to go, I think. And I say that because of these just few degrees that we're in Cancer, and then we're going to move to Leo. So there would be a case that it might not be as bad as we think, but I just keep looking at that transit chart here, and this looks pretty intense. So what I want to do is I want to take a look at the cards for a second and try to figure out what's going on with that stellium there at the bottom of the USA transit chart, and it's opposing Neptune. Is this going to be, and I wonder if I'll get a card with water on it. Is this going to be a major weather event? Maybe some more ice? Ace of Cups reversed. Maybe not as bad. Now let me get a clarifier card on that. The Fool reversed. So, it might be enough to, people want to start something, and the Fool reversed is like, hang on a second, you're not ready yet. So, has there ever been wildfires in the East like they've been recently? That is a good question. Something I'd have to look up. Metal in uniforms, hats. Yeah, airplane. Big money years. Okay, good. Good, good, good. Okay. Yeah. Let me get back to this. This is something we're looking at with Neptune. It's at the very least going to be it's going to be kind of monsoony like just downpours, but cold cold water, and also keeping in mind Saturn is like being dark, like it looks like night. And that's Pisces as well. So everything looks like super, super dark for a couple of days, I think. So, you know, put your lights on and, it's a time to sleep and read a book in bed. So we'll have to see how that plays out. I'm very interested to see with March 4th here. This is going to be April 4th, and that's how you're going to read your solar return chart for yourself. You're going to look at the houses as months. There's Mercury up there in Leo, and there's Neptune, but it's a trine to Leo. So this does look to me like a group of storms. Definitely a group of storms coming in. And this could be on the mountains because of Leo. Yep, there we go. There is Neptune. And could be a twin storm from the last time. So maybe we saw some storms from the fall and it's coming back for a second time. I hope that is not true. But, and then in the ninth house, this is really going to be in the news. I think it's going to be groups of, um, maybe articles about a mountain, about places on vacation too. And we keep seeing about like alcohol poisoning on vacation. So that could also be happening too. So be careful of what you drink when you go on vacation. That's the Mercury square Neptune. Oh, happy birthday, Gibson. I know. I had a client today and she just couldn't get on Zoom. And she was in England, so just kept getting kicked off. Uh, okay, Jen, there were fires in New Jersey last November. I know. Star Sleuth Saturn is cold too. So frozen water, black water. I know. Deb, see, you're doing the right thing. And yeah, okay. So yeah, so Mercury this is like two mountains. That would be a clue. So can you give us an idea, Spirit, of where these weather events are going to be with the Leo clue? And I'm going to move this over to here. Where in the world are these mountains going to be? I'm assuming Leo or vacation. Can you give us some kind of clue on the location? Eight of Wands again. And a clarifier card. Maybe I should shuffle first and then do clarifier. The Sun. So, well, that is also communication too, right? So at the very least, communication, I mean, it is Mercury retrograde, so communication will be shut down. So maybe that's what we're seeing. Maybe even some blackouts. No sun. It's going to be dark just for a little while. Yeah, I know. Is it Colorado, Tennessee, Virginia, Midwest? Well, give us a little bit more of a clue as to where this this event or group of events is taking place. 10 of Wands. It's where people are moving. Oh my God, look, that's a mountain. So they're all having to move off the mountain. It looks like it could be bad. I wonder if it's North Carolina again because, or even South Carolina, one of the Carolinas. Carolinas are twins and also has mountains. So, yes, sun fits with Leo, fire in the east. Okay. Yeah. Okay. Now let me see if I can get back here to this mess. All right. Interested to know your thoughts psychically. What do you think is going to happen with all of these planets, with the opposition here and the eclipse all at the same time? And did I mention Black Moon Lilith is in there, which can mean, take no prisoners. Then we've got Uranus, and it is trining this, and that is a river. Are we talking about a river that overflows? Let me look at that. Uranus is fast. Neptune is water. So that's going to be a river. All right. Are we talking about a river? Oops. Six of Cups. This is kind of like a Leo card. It's where a lot of families are. Cups and Eight of Swords reverse. So kind of stuck. So a family is stuck. I hope not. So that's Leo, families are stuck. And, the best way with that card, the Eight of Wands, it almost looks like somebody's really, really stuck there. There's nothing you can do except slowly try to escape. You don't want to be slow, but it doesn't look like these people have a choice. Yeah, big water tsunami yes. And you thought of the Carolinas? Utah. Okay. Lane, you said, I'm in South Carolina and we have black water rivers. Okay. So, yeah, we're talking about some rivers, I think. And so if you live near a river, just be careful or don't travel to a river right now. Just wait for a few weeks. And let me get back to this here. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking at all of those planets. And, then with the progressed chart, it does look like it could be a foreign river too. Maybe something that is going to happen in Eastern Europe, which would be Pisces. So we might see something like that. We might see some weather activity. And I think this one's so wild with the solar return of Galveston. Look at how many people here are they're flooded. And Neptune opposing Saturn, which is what we're seeing right now. This was devastating. And it's just so much there. So we're seeing about the same amount of planets conjunct right now. It's just back then it was Sagittarius. Now it's Pisces. And yeah, let's see. So this is March 24th. Kind of darkened. I didn't put the original one in here, but or the one without the highlights, but there we go with the transits all together. And this is going to be up in the sky. Uranus is this is going to be something that is so fast that I wonder if there are going to be some cars involved because Mars is part of this little stellium here. So I think we're going to see a lot of cars in the water again. It's going to be another twinning type of situation here. So let me go over to this news story. A line of severe storms moved west to east across North Carolina today, spawning a few tornado warnings, thousands of power outages, flooded roads, and downed trees. We're going to see Saturn. Saturn can also be trees. Saturn in Pisces, trees in the water. because Saturn rules Capricorn, and that's a lot of trees. So the storms began to arrive in the triangle area around 10 a.m. By 3 p.m., the worst weather had moved farther east towards the coast. So they're starting to settle down now, but people are having to clear a lot of debris and a lot of trees. So Pluto or Scorpio usually means trash, but let's see. South node can mean what is left behind. So we'll have to see. We'll have to see what that looks like. Yeah, I don't really see. I don't know if it's left behind. There's an opposition with South Node if you see it there in the second house. This is kind of like people are stuck. It just looks like they're stuck to me. And then there's Sagittarius, just like what we were seeing in the Galveston. That was the Galveston hurricane. And I don't know about a hurricane, even though Aquarius is an air sign. You usually see a lot of Libra with hurricanes. Um, Hence, hurricane season is around Libra season, but still there could be some winds, which is Aquarius. People who are Aquarius or Libra, they like the breeze. They love the breeze. This is too much though, too much of a breeze. And yeah, so there could be some tornadoes. We will have to see. Now, tomorrow I'm going to be talking about Koberger, and I think I'm going to be talking about a celebrity. I think Demi Moore is dating somebody new. So I think I'm going to have to look at that, see what her love life looks like for her solar return. I know, nature always wins. Psychic medium Roberto, the 14th of March shows big water, 22, human difficulties and destruction. Be safe. Thank you, Roberto. Yeah, the Ides of March, right? Okay, would be fascinating to see the chart of the big ice storm of 1998. Well, heck, why don't we look it up? Okay, ice storm of 98. That was January. Okay, was it January? January 5th, 1998. And it lasted till January 9th. This storm had historic impacts across northern New York, northern New England, and southeast Canada due to the prolonged duration of the event. Let's see, I'm trying to think, was I there? Yes, I was there. You would think I would remember. Okay, I think I'm remembering. Yeah, you couldn't go anywhere. You seriously could not go anywhere. January 5th to 9th. Star Sleuth, I know you were in there. Do you remember? Do you have any anecdotes? All right, so if it's January 5th, 1998, I'm going to draw the chart. And I'm going to share it in a second. January 5th, 1998. And that, I think it was in Venezuela around then. And let's see, New York. All right, let's see what we have here. Ooh, well, it does make sense. It's in Capricorn season. I'm going to share this, and hopefully you can see that. Hang on one second. Got everything open right now. Now I'm confused. Hold on. Okay, hold on. Let me fix it. So this is the chart. Oh my God, Amber, what happened? 4 hours to drive home from wedding, a 35-mile normal drive. Are you serious? Oh my God. Power's out. Oh, your sister's first wedding was that storm. Oh my God. Any other comments about the marriage? Did it have something to do with ice? Thanks, Amber. Mercury retrograde got me again. It's the second time. I know. I agree, Angel. Okay. Yes, a friend was just telling us about that ice storm. The power was out and people were starting to turn on each other. She woke one morning to what she thought were shotguns, but it was the trees. um, Buckeye Clay fan, you guys are too young. Blizzard of 78 in Midwest was more snow than I've ever seen. Yeah. I moved to New Hampshire in 79. So I remember all my friends had all these pictures of, the snow coming up to their second floor window. Did I do a chart for Hurricane Sandy October 30th, 2012? I did not. I should. Hey, Jen. And why am I thinking the same areas that have been hit hard in past Florida, Louisiana, and something with New York and Virginia? It's true. All right, so this is a really interesting chart actually, because what do we have there? And I'm not going to be able to mark it up because I'm straight on the internet here. But you see Aries up there, Saturn and Moon. That is ice. It is cold. And there's a stellium in Aquarius. And often that'll happen when something shocking is happening when it's like, holy God, everybody's like, oh my God. That's always an Aquarius type of thing. But let me see here. Where's Mercury? So I'm surprised that, okay, so Mercury does represent the weather. And Mercury is trining Saturn and Moon. So the weather is cold. That's how you could read that, really. Let me see. Let me make some other notations on this, or I'm going to pull out. God, I can't find anything here. Okay, here we go. I am going to pull the aspects. See what we get. So this is for the ice storm for 1998. And so we have Neptune at 29 degrees. Well, Neptune is back and forth on 29 degrees Pisces, not a very good degree. So yeah, could definitely show some ice. And let's see here. I just put in any random time I put in the afternoon, 19 or later in the afternoon. But the Saturn moon, I think, gives it away. Let's see about, where's the moon here? Definitely an interruption. So that would be Aquarius in a square. It's a big shock. And the moon here, the moon is the public. So the public is stopped. I wonder if there were some deaths because that would be Saturn moon there. Let me get some ideas here. 1998 ice storm news. The storm was a historic winter storm that hit New England and parts of Canada. Okay. So that's why I don't really remember it that well. The storm caused widespread damage, including power outages, carbon monoxide poisoning, and timber damages. Over 800,000 homes lost power. There you go. That's why it's Aquarius. So much Aquarius, people are losing power, especially when you see that square there. That's going to show no more power. So we don't want to see stelliums in Aquarius. Utilities replaced over 3,000 poles and more than 1.2 million feet of wire. Up to 400 people were hospitalized due to carbon monoxide poisoning, and damage estimates of more than 4 billion with approximately 40 fatalities. And if I was feeling silly and I wanted to try to figure out the location of this, well, Aries is a sports town, and that's Boston. So that's New England. So I wonder if we're seeing this slowly move towards Aries. Aries is sports, right? Saturn and Moon is darkness of the sports, darkness of the sports town. And so that might be actually a good clue, I think, that we could be seeing some things happening in New England, maybe in the next few weeks. I hope not. If it's not this time, then, these planets are going to continue to move into Aries. So we'll have to keep an eye on New England. All right. Okay, so let me go back here. The trees exploding, yeah. Taurus Mutero, we had to house 13 out of town relatives for over a week. Oh my God. They were intensely frozen. The trees just smashed. Jen, Louisiana would involve the Mississippi River. Lisa St. John, my daughter was exactly 1 month old the night the storm hit. Having a newborn with no power was no fun. Oh my God. Wow. So you had a newborn. So then she is Saturn in Aries. That's interesting. Yeah. Okay. Yeah, it was a reunion, that's for sure. You're like a reunion that lasted a little too long. And where were you? Were you in Maryland, Amber? What about Louisiana 2005? I'll have to look up that date. Angel D, my friend was saying they gathered their older relatives with them for safety. People are starting to steal from vulnerable people's yards and such, turning on each other. Yeah, it's crazy. We're all animals, most of us. And so Louisiana 2005, let's see that one. Was that, I'll just put storm. I should know these dates. Oh, okay. Sorry. This is Katrina. Yeah, I already have a chart for that one. In fact, I think it's, of course I know that one. Let me find that chart. Hold on. I think, okay, yeah, here's Katrina. Here's Katrina. And hold on, let me double check that you guys can see it. Hold on. Okay. And I can just try to make this smaller. So it won't let me make it bigger for some reason. Okay, but anyway, this is the Katrina chart. And of course, the ascendant, and we were talking about this last time we talked about weather, but Leo's the cat, Katrina. And the ascendant means the name. So this was the chart of the storm. And that's what the ascendant is. We don't really know yet what the storm is going to be called. So we can't really say. But the ascendant for this one, the start or the beginning of the storm, the name, right on Regulus. And Leo is Katrina. It's also the French quarter because Leo is French. So we had so much going on. Sadness of the French. And, right now we've got Saturn in Pisces, which is sadness of the beaches, sadness of the coast. And then that's going to move on to maybe New England. I don't know. But there's all of the Libra there. That's so much wind. Woof. And all of that in the second house too. I mean, so much financial damage as opposed to, financial damage and physical damage. Let me see. Yeah, we were, I think it was me and Amber, we were kind of looking at it and charting it on the map. But yeah, it's hard. It's kind of hard just looking at a chart to figure out where the storm is going to be. But, sometimes with Leo, we can also show the United Kingdom as well. Kingdom, Leo. Gosh, it all fits together. Kimberly, I have been told that you should record sleep stories about astrology. I've dozed off twice listening to your calming voice. I'm old. No, I am like that with some of the other astrologers on YouTube. Which one is so good? That Ryan, I haven't listened to him in a while. Is it Kurzak? Oh, I like his voice. And then there's another one that I had on my show who's really good too. Thanks, Brenda. Reminds me of WKRP in Cincinnati. Now I'm really showing my age. I used to love that show. Okay, so I think that's all I wanted to talk about, but great seeing y'all, and we'll have to see what happens. Angel, I fell asleep trying to watch Reiki. I have not tried to watch that before. I'm going to try to do that. And Kimberly, you say, I usually listen to the French Whisperer. Um, oh, Jen, yes, that's right. The Superdome. We were talking about that. Katrina, yep. Okay, Amber, you were in Tyson's. Yes, it's not Tyson's Corner anymore. It's just Tyson's because it's so big. So you were in Maryland. Yeah, I must have. I kind of remember a lot of ice, but I'll have to look back into some of my journals. Try to pull a story there. All right. Should we pull one more card before we go? Let's see. Should it be weather related? Can you give us? How about this? I think I already asked this, but can you give us a location of when this big storm? I think it might be twin storms. When or where is this going to happen in the U.S.? I'm just going to say the U.S. Make it simple. 7 of Cups. Oh, I guess the universe doesn't know yet. Let me pull it up. 7 of Cups. And oh, hang on one second. Amber, do you like my meteorology office back there? I'm going to use some of the cards that Amber got me. And give us some kind of hint about where this storm could be. The Magician. And that's near Prince William. And then one more clarifying card of where this group of storms could hit. And probably some rivers. Is it Mississippi? Let's just ask if it's Mississippi. No, I didn't do that one right. Okay, hold on. Is it Mississippi? Okay, this looks like 2. Maybe 2 rivers. Taurus, Moon, Tarot, you think it's the beach? Yeah, maybe near a coast. Yes, don't they look good? They're really nice cards. And thanks, Psychic Medium Roberto. All right, well, we'll have to see. Thanks, guys, for hanging in there with me. I'm still navigating my new StreamYard layout. So I'm practicing. So, all right, I'll see you guys tomorrow. Have a good one.